everyone! I know I said I was gonna make more videos for this channel, so here's yet another video for all of you. So if you guys don't know me, I'm Julie Wonker. You know what? I just kind of realized like it was my first time to say my username out loud. I don't know how YouTubers do it. I always find it very cringe to say my username. Like I've gone by Julie Wonker since I was elementary or something. So today's video is all about books I DNF. If you're new to the world of Bookstagram, Bookterest, Booktube, Book Talk, then you probably should know that DNF stands for Did Not Finish. I first came upon the term after using Goodreads for a while, and a lot of people, they would shelve certain books on their DNF shelves. And you know, as an author, I understand that this is probably not the best place to find your book in. Which brings me to this. I am in no way invalidating the talent, the inspiration, and the hard work of these writers. I may not be a published author myself, but I can only imagine how difficult it is to write a novel and publish it for the world to see. Some people might pick it apart, and some people might love it. You just never really know. And as a reader, I just really want to state my opinion on these books. And my next message is for you, my fellow readers. It's really not my intention to insult your taste in books. So if you find any of these books great, then that's amazing. Keep supporting your favorite writers. Keep supporting your community. And keep reading these books and recommending them. With all those disclaimers out of the way, let's get to my DNF list and why I did not finish any of these books. The first book on this list is The Idiot by Elif Batuman. Again, I needed to re-angle my camera because my neighbors were watching. The downside of being a small-time YouTuber. So I really wanted to finish this book. I mean, the premise itself is super interesting. The main character, her name is Selin. She is the daughter of Turkish immigrants. She is experiencing her first year at Harvard. It's the 90s. People are conversing with each other via email. So basically the gist of this book is that Selin has to carve her path in life and navigate through this new environment. There's no actual structure or identifiable conflict, but I think that's the whole point of the book. And you know, for most folks, that's totally fine. Not every book needs a clear structure. Not everyone needs a villain and a conflict. But I think that's also what weighs the book down. When I reached like around 60% of the book, I kind of realized that Selin is still where she was on the first few chapters. And you know, Elif Batuman, she is a very funny writer, but sadly, like in my own personal opinion, please do not attack me, I did feel like that humor eventually went stale and the jokes started not to land. And again, the writing is very engaging, but personally I stopped being interested halfway through and couldn't really care what happens towards the end. So will I give the book another try? I definitely will. As I mentioned, the writing's pretty engaging and I think it's really geared towards the millennial audience like myself. So yes, I am looking forward to doing a marathon read of this. I think this is the type of book that you should just read like continuously and not stop, otherwise you lose interest halfway through. So looking forward to reading The Idiot by Elif Batuman all over again. Okay, for this next book, I do not have a physical copy anymore, and I'm sorry, I sold it. I hope the new book owner is happy with it. And to be honest, I don't ever want to read this book again. So no offense to Jill Santopolo. Congratulations on that movie deal. I believe that this book is now a movie. I know you are an amazing writer, but this story, The Light We Lost, is just definitely not for me. So The Light We Lost basically follows two people who are totally obsessed with each other. The character names are Lucy and Gabe. And when I say they are obsessed with each other, they just can't let go of each other throughout the book. And that's not even like the worst of the story. both Lucy and Gabe, they meet each other during 9/11 of all the events the writer could have think of. And they practically share a kiss while the city is under a terror attack. And I know I may seem like a very sour grape here, but what publisher, what writer goes, hey, that's pretty cute, let's have them meet during 9/11, have them kiss during 9/11, and turn that into some meet cute? Honestly, I really can't get behind these god-awful characters and the story. I'm so sorry if you love this book, but it's definitely not for me. So the next book title on this list is Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. Okay, I may not be the biggest Colleen Hoover fan, but I don't hate her books. I do not hate her. I mean, I did read a couple of her books before. I read Maybe Not, aside from the occasional cheating, which I do not condone, even in books. It was okay, and you know, Slammed was pretty good too. And if you watch my previous video, I did highlight that I did not finish it, or I did not end It Ends With Us. Like Ugly Love, It Ends With Us is a really popular book that many people loved, but I just did not finish it. But I don't want to highlight that for this video. I think I want to do a separate review of It Ends With Us instead. And I also want to attempt to finish that book anyway. So back to Ugly Love. Ugly Love was just not so pretty. I mean, the writing was good, and you'll hear that constantly throughout this video because I do not want to attack the writing and talents of the writers, but because of the stories and the characters, and Ugly Love is a good example of that. In Ugly Love's case, these characters are just the absolute worst. They give Gabe and Lucy from The Light We Lost a run for their money. I'm so sorry. There's so much SLUT shaming or women shaming in Tate's part, and Miles Archer is just the worst possible romantic lead or human being in general. I know he's a fictional character, but human being in general. I don't understand why Tate would do anything for him. This guy has the personality of stale bread. And their steamy scenes were just awkward. I mean, he calls her by his ex's name. How can Tate continue to pine over a guy like that? Where's her sense of self-respect? And probably to add to the many flaws of this book, they build so much on Rachel and Miles's love story or their backstory. I sometimes forget Tate even exists or even has a personality at all. And I know this is a video about books I DNF, but I did cheat a bit and then skip all the other chapters to get to the end because I really wanted to know how it ends. Wow, how it ends. And the ending was just a little bit, it was just even worse. Like finding out that this character, certain character, was alive. I mean, it was totally anticlimactic, and it just probably reinforces the idea that she served no purpose throughout the book. So basically, I have zero plans in rereading those skipped chapters or picking up this book up again. But that won't discourage me from reading other Colleen Hoover works. So please do comment on the comment section below. What's your favorite Colleen Hoover book? I might go ahead and check that out. So the next book on this list is The Astonishing Color of After by Emily Pan. So honestly, it pains me to include this book on the list. I mean, look how gorgeous it is, and the writing is very beautiful as well, and the story itself is beautiful as well. But like Ugly Love, I did technically cheat this book. I skimmed through so many chapters to reach the ending. But the story in itself is absolutely astonishing. The story centers around Lei, an immigrant daughter whose mother took her own life, so she embarks on a journey of self-discovery. I think that the book mixes YA with magical realism, and I don't think that's any problem at all. I've read a lot of books like Jellicoe Road, Ava Lavender, that mixes both genres, and they turned out so beautiful. I'm in no way saying that this book is not beautiful at all, but as much as I really wanted to finish it and read each chapter, I really couldn't get past the romantic subplot. And it's like mentioned in numerous instances throughout the chapters. I think that really weighed the book down and eventually made me lose interest. So again, while that did bother me, I wouldn't mind picking up this book and rereading it all over again. So another book that absolutely broke my heart to include on this list is Into the Water by Paula Hawkins. So a lot of you book lovers would know who Paula Hawkins is. She wrote Girl on the Train, which happens to be one of the most famous mystery novels of the new generation. So the marketing of this book goes like, if you loved Girl on the Train, you'll definitely love Into the Water. But I have no idea what happened to Into the Water. Among all the books on this list, this is probably like the shortest one that I managed to finish. I actually stopped reading on the 3rd chapter. Like Girl on the Train, Into the Water is a murder / mystery. But unlike Girl on the Train, this book has a convoluted plot and so many characters. So there was way too much POVs that was even so difficult for me to understand what was going on. Like, who the hell was Nell and why do people hate her? Like, you wouldn't even care because there are too many characters to think of. And I think that's probably what really made this book so unreadable for me. So to this day, I have no idea what's going on with Into the Water, and I'm not even going to attempt to reread this book. If you have read it, again, please share with me what the hell is going on with the book, and if it's even worth the reread, let me know. So the last book on this list is Imaginary Friend by Stephen Chbosky. Oh my gosh, why do I feel like I have had this book on my bookshelf since forever? Okay, bookworms, so the name Stephen Chbosky probably rings a bell. He's the one and only author of The Perks of Being a Wallflower. So you might be looking at the cover of this book and wondering why Stephen Chbosky is foraying into horror. But hey, why not? I mean, I personally don't mind. I love it when authors take the risk and break out of their mold and try out different genres. I mean, let George R.R. Martin write a romance novel. I mean, there's no golden rule to just staying to your specific niche, right? So I'm gonna have to give Chbosky some credit for thinking outside the box, trying something new, taking the risk. But sadly, I don't think the book really, lived up to expectations. So I got the book for the sole reason that people in TikTok kept recommending it. But I'll tell you what, it's not scary, it drags a lot, and it's a little cliche. I'm sorry. And probably like the biggest red flag for me is that I stopped losing interest just as the book started picking up pace. Okay, let me just try to summarize it for you guys. It's basically about a mom and her young son. They escape an abusive relationship and transfer to a small town. And one day, said son disappears. I don't even remember his name, but he disappears, and then he comes back, and he's just a fraction of who he is, and he starts taking order from an imaginary friend. So on Goodreads, I read that some people said that the book starts picking up pace. I mean, starts getting interesting around the 75% mark. I stopped reading at the 40% mark because it's just way too long, and I personally felt like nothing was happening. But, maybe I'll try to reread this book, especially now that it's spooky season. So that's my list. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for making it this far. Again, this list is just my personal opinion. And please keep supporting the writers, especially if you've been loving their works since day one. Remember, one bad book reviewed by some random chick on the internet shouldn't dictate how you feel about an author. And yes, I'd love to hear from you. Did you not finish any book this year or over the past few years? If so, what were they? Please do sound off in the comments below. And while you're at it, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps me if you do subscribe or like this video. Or you can follow me on Instagram. Again, my name is Wonka Writes. I share images, book-related images, writing-related images, and I also attempt to do IG Reels. So yeah, that's all I have for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye!